Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Chat and Chill podcast. And today we are having Mr. Yuyi Blessings, who is a pastor, an entrepreneur, and also a public nurse. And today we'll get to know him. And before we go any further, please guys, subscribe to the channel, like and share. That's the only way you can support us. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome, viewers. Welcome all over where you're watching us from. I'm excited to be here, and looking forward to a great Chat and Chill podcast.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and it's one of the questions that I usually ask everyone who comes here. It's who is Yuyi Blessings?
Wow, that we need. Okay, I'll make it very brief.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's a lot. When people look at me and they see Yuyi Blessing, the pastor, the public health nurse, they just see the face value.
Yes.
But there's a lot that has brought me this far, and there's a lot of history and what I've passed through. But what I would say is what you see today is a combination of several experiences.
Yes.
What I've been through, like those were shaping stages of life, and that's what I've been through has produced what you see today. So Yuyi Blessing, I'm a son to Mr. and Mrs. Mundia, who is Nancy. Mom is Lunda, actually from Zambezi.
Yeah.
And dad is Lozi from Kalabo and Isefula.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they met in Zambezi when dad went there to do some work. He was an electrician, and he was electrifying, I think, Zambezi Institute of Farming Institute.
Yes.
So that's when dad met this beautiful Lunda lady, and they got married.
Yeah.
And she was brought to Kalabo.
Okay.
And dad was staying with my grandfather and the family.
Yeah.
So that's how this Lunda lady was introduced into the Lozi family, and we are 8 in our family.
Okay.
I'm the 4th born in the family of 8, so I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But I would say I'm the only pastor in the family, though our family is very religious.
Yes.
Most of my sisters are church leaders, they preach. Dad is a reverend. Mom is a woman of God, is a prayer warrior, not just for the family, but for the church.
Okay.
So those are some of the things about me. I'm a differently skilled person in terms of we were raised in a setup where it was an environment of hard work.
Yes.
And so we learned to work hard, and that's how I can do welding, I can do different other works. I can get into the IT industry, do graphics, do this and that. And also you can come to the hospital, I can inject you and work on you. I preach, I pray for the sick. So all those things, I think it's the home background, the home environment that enabled me to be diverse, and also the support from dad and mom.
Yes.
They believed in me so much, and they taught us to work hard. And from that, I think that's what really makes me. I went to school. I started from, Imwiko Primary?
Yeah.
Then we moved to Nkeye, Kaoma.
Okay.
And then there, grade 7, I went to Kaoma in grade 4. I spent some time grade 7. I came back again at Kanyonyo.
Okay.
Then I went to Kambule. Then did college. I actually started college as an accountant. I wanted to become an accountant.
Yes.
Actually, because of my passion for business, I wanted to do a business course. But at that time in Mongo, we only had Mongo Trades. And the only business-related course was accounts. Okay. So I got into accounts. Of course, there is component of commerce there, and IT, and so some of these things I learned in the accountancy school. Unfortunately,
so you completed this.
Unfortunately, I dropped
You dropped
midway.
out.
I think I couldn't complete maybe just two courses. But most of the courses I cleared.
Okay.
And I can practice as an accountant at some time. I do that at our business.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Then afterwards, I did... I went into... Actually, even before I did accountancy, I went to Livingstone, where I did my Bible training as a pastor, theological college.
Yeah.
And whilst there, that's when I was introduced to... like there was more time. We only had maybe 3 days in a week to do our Bible theological training.
Yes.
So there was more time, so I started doing also metal fabrication.
Oh,
so I was enlisted in a certain workshop, and that's how I learned my metal fabrication skill.
Yeah.
And when I came back, I started supporting the church here. And that's how I was ordained in 2015. Before I got married, I was ordained as a pastor in charge for the Mungu Vineyard Church.
Oh, yeah. Now, I want to like get the point where you've now felt like you have this passion for entrepreneurship. Looking at it like from your background, was there anyone that you saw who was doing business? Or was there someone in the family who was doing business that you thought to say, I think my way is also business? Yeah,
my greatest inspiration for business, there are several people that I can mention, like Strive Masiyiwa. In Mongo, there are local business people like Mr. Mukumbuta. We grew up in that environment. They were our neighbors, actually.
Yeah.
And when he started his hardware business, there are several in Zambia, Muvita Nawa. There are several people who really inspire me. But the greatest and where I gain my inspiration, especially from childhood, is my dad. My dad was one of the most dynamic entrepreneurs who I was so proud of him because he took care of us as a family.
Yes.
And he was not formally employed, but we were okay.
Yeah.
And he achieved a lot. So we found ourselves in a setup where we were like, okay, doing business, it's a huge thing. It can feed people.
Yes.
And actually take someone very far.
Yeah.
So there were lows and highs of business. I remember my dad was the first person in Mongu to start a photography studio.
Oh, okay.
Nowadays, people are getting back. People, at some point, photography died in terms of Alienkwa Studio.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the old days, he had this building where different lights, cameras, and all that.
So it was a full-time studio.
It was a full-time studio, and it was called actually Hymns Studio. So those old people in Mongo, they know that.
Hymns Studio.
Yes, it was Hymns Studio. It came from his name, Harris Imasiku Mundia.
Oh,
so HIM.
Yeah.
Hymns Studio. So he started that with a small camera in Kalavo. He used to capture just doing ordinary photography, like in the community.
Yes.
But finally, he moved to Mongo and he set up this big studio. Before that, he also, when that business went down, with this and that happened, he moved to Kaoma because they wanted to venture into farming, which was not very successful. But even then, we could see him doing timber business.
Yeah.
We would see him doing salaola business. Sometimes things are very hard at home. He could become a fisherman. He could go to Iteji. Yes. I remember the other time, he was out for like 6 months, and suddenly I see someone coming with a bike and a lot of things. and I'm like, this man just disappeared. He went like that, but when he comes back, and then I was like, wow, I want to be as industrious as he is. So I think he's the one who really motivated me to think about business. But also, in our times, when we were when we were in our grade 8, grade 9, grade 7, times were so hard in Zambia generally. The times of Chiluba's government, there was a time when economically the nation wasn't doing fine. A lot of things were hard. So many people became poor. Yes. And I remember we had to move from the farm in Kaoma and we came to Mongu.
Yeah.
And that's how I started my grade 7 here again. So we had this plot in Mongu town somewhere, and we had a temporal structure.
Yes.
And because mom wanted us to, we might be poor, things might be hard, but my children have to go to school. Exactly. So we started staying at that temporal structure. It was very hard.
Yeah.
And as a way of survival, we had to hustle. And that's how, I think that's a time when I got the training of what entrepreneurship is. The practical part of it, because if I don't sell, we won't eat.
We won't eat, yeah.
So
exactly.
we had to push. And businesses simple businesses like buying groundnuts at the market at Kashumba, buying bread at ShopRite, buying bread at Widmer there, and would sell. You are in school and you knock off, you need to go and hustle on the streets. And that's where I got the training the serious training of entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Skills like saving money. I used to save my money in a bottle. My bottle ya Coca-Cola.
Yeah, you.
Wavea matent mashele nitoa ma 50. Ngia kuna ma 50 kwa chali. Wavea mate 5. Is it 500 kwacha?
Yeah.
You put and all that. At the end of the day, umbatakule kalivuka kwa school or what, you just break that bottle and you have a bit of money for you to survive.
Yeah, and now when did you really venture into this where you because right now you have a few outlets for Yes Enterprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how did you now start? Which one was your first real business that you saw? Okay, this now is a business. Or how did you even start the same Yes Enterprise?
Yeah, of course there were several other businesses before the Yes that people know today. But even now, I used to run that business with another business. Actually, metal fabrication business and welding was the one which was feeding Yes as a business. Okay. So I'll get projects, and then when people pay, sometimes you have a lot of money, and then I would say, okay, let me put it in a glossary, because the turnover there is money keeps coming, and you are able to get it out easily.
Yes,
so
exactly.
it's the one that actually sustained that. But my main business that really gave me capital, it is the metal fabrication and welding business, where we could do projects, we could do window frames, door frames for people, and all that. Now, when we got into the glossary business, the Yes Enterprise, it was this time when I felt I need to do something permanent.
Yeah.
And I need to be, because now I was getting married, started looking at I was too mobile. You can go anywhere, but now I'm I need to set.
You need something solid.
So that's how we set up the business. I talked to Dad, I was given space in town. Yes. And how we started, it was really simple. And I remember posting, and when we started that business was when we were just getting out of COVID.
Yeah.
And I remember posting, and I was still in school actually. I was still in nursing school. I was doing public health at Lewanik.
Okay.
So this holiday, then I started ordering stock, put there, and I posted. I told my friends that next time when you come, you see a big business. This is where it starts from.
Yeah, I think I remember that post. It was a small.
Yeah, we just had. So I said, when we tell you that. I started my business with one counter. I think that's what I said. Because people laugh at us, people who motivate and say,
I started my butchery with a picture of the cow.
You say, no, I started my restaurant with one rice. And that was kind of a thing. We started very basic, just drinks here and there. We would display a Coca-Cola falic and shelves and counters. It was so funny, but I knew that with consistency and determination, we will make it. And also the confidence and the courage it's different from someone who's starting a business for the first time. But for someone who has done it over and over again,
the experience.
So you have that confidence and you know that it will work out.
Yeah, and you're one of the people who has got a lot of things that you have going on in your life.
Yeah.
You are one of the diverse people I know, from being a pastor, being an entrepreneur, being a public health personnel.
Yeah.
These are like 3 different personalities in one person. How do you manage that workload of you being needed as a pastor? There are some people who need you there. They need your support as a pastor. There are some people who need your presence there as a public health personnel. And then there is also the business world, which needs you as a businessman. How do you balance the 3?
Yeah, it might be complicated if you look at it from different perspective, but this is, for me, this is one, it's me.
Yeah.
And these things are coming out from me. So it's like, a television.
Yes.
You can have, today you are maybe listening to worship.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can use it as a radio.
Exactly.
It's playing. So I realized that the world is so dynamic that you can't just depend on one being singular, like a paper, a plain paper.
Yeah.
When you put it here, it will fall. There is no support.
Exactly.
Because it's one dimensional. It's just one angle.
Yeah.
But for life to balance, you need to find a way of creating support around your life.
Yeah.
So then this means that you are not, if this thing goes down, there is another thing to support. There's another aspect to support so that you are balanced. Yeah. So being dynamic, sometimes we say, no, we need to be specialized. And I believe in that, but sometimes in the world we live today, you have one specialty.
Yes.
And that your area crashes, maybe by the technology advancement, maybe changes in weather, changes in this. I mean, you are gone. You've lost it. So you have to find ways to back up what you're doing. And that's how this now pastor becomes a serious entrepreneur and also ventures into public health. But this is me. This is who I am. So when I appear as a nurse, I appear as a public health nurse, I appear as a pastor, but I'm Yuyi. I'm Yuyi Blessings, it's me.
Yeah.
Now, I remember the confusion there will be in a culture where we are trained to be specialized, or in a culture where we are trained to
do one thing.
To just do one thing. So I remember one of my close friends, my elder brother, was telling me that, people were asking me that, actually, he was a police officer.
Yeah.
So he went to Bible school and he became a pastor. So now someone was coming and telling him, now, faruka keta ifi, chefa mapokora, pastor, alukete nfateni ilim. So it was like, why should we choose one? Why can't we maybe let's add another one, even 3? Because life is so dimensional. You are a father, in a certain setup, maybe you are a player, you are a footballer. They just look at you like that. But you are also a father, you have a family, you also have what you are passionate about.
Yes, exactly.
And unfortunately, the more we want to be specific, we restrict ourselves so much. And I've seen people becoming very frustrated with life because one of the things that God has given us is to seek fulfillment.
Yeah.
And endow it. You see, the day you die, you need to die empty. But many people die with a lot of energy, with a lot of dreams, and because of fear, because of what are people going to say, people fail to advance and try other things. But for me, I feel it's good to dare and, take it to the max.
Yeah.
Do what you can, because there's no life and work in the grave when you die.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of fear, I was looking at it from this point where Zambia right now, quite alright, maybe I'm sure our unemployment rate are very high.
So high. We are creating a lot of graduates.
Yeah, that's what's going
on. And we are not creating jobs and opportunities as much as we are creating graduates.
Yeah, exactly. So now is it that we have the young people who don't dare to dream, who are always just looking for something just to keep me hanging in there until I die?
It's crazy because we come from this culture where we come from a culture of how can I put it in English? We want people seek for example, they will tell you get involved in work in government because there's security.
There,
exactly. And you have a retirement package and all that. But I mean, life has changed, my friend.
Yes.
Because there are people who have never enjoyed their retirement package.
Yeah.
You die. A lot of things happen. So someone was, I was laughing. Someone was telling me, it's money. Baba mwabasa mameli nikweza retire. Abanakweza retire. So me, I told them, who told you that I want to retire? Like I want to work until I retire. That time I don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
There is a lot to do. You can't wait for retirement.
Mm-hmm.
So today the challenge we have kikuli batwatro kena maupiro wambombolelwa. And what I can call also false comfort, or we've created certain comfort zones for ourselves, and these are restricting us so much because of people's expectations. So, for example, today's youth will spend 3 years more high, either waiting for
employment,
not even employment, waiting to go to college. Pili ni kwa college askaya.
Askaya 3 years, yeah.
Aka ya kwa college mwenda po so siya marira itili kama apeki diploma fa yoyeza. Niko na kewe ofeza 4 years. Utoe na mwa haya hapi another 4 years of looking for employment.
Yeah.
I mean, in that period of your life, it's what we call the prime. It's where you are the most smart in the mind. It's where you are strong, where you are passionate. All this time waiting, even after college, now you are waiting to be employed. What happens?
Yeah.
And you see now we become so frustrated. And my concern when we're doing a lot of youth empowerment advocacy, we were warning the government that you see we are sitting on a time bomb because these young people who are just seated in homes waiting for whatever, they'll become a problem to themselves and to society. Yeah. And before we realized it, we had this uprising of junkies.
Yeah.
And these young people were so frustrated. It's like they're just hungry. But it's why there is no fulfillment. And they begin to get worried about their future. And unfortunately, with the emerging of social media and now someone wale kaka palo karimine kaka troya ma studio ba mukopa they post, and people there's this force and
pictures on
there's this appearance that now we have camouflaged ourselves. Yeah. But there's something down there which is eating this young man. Yeah. But most of the times they are broke. Yeah. Most of the times
social media packaging.
And all that. So they have this frustration building up.
Yeah.
And I think life shouldn't be taken like that. I was telling someone that no, you don't have to wait. Why should you wait for your life to start after college?
Yeah.
Or esanka kenam sevez?
Yes.
In life, we start, if you know that you want to become an entrepreneur, you know you want to become a graphic designer, you want to become an IT person, an engineer, you shouldn't wait for the day when you'll be employed for you to practice.
Yeah.
Start now.
Yes.
If you're in grade 8, start now. If you're in grade 7, start now. Build on that, and you'll be shocked what can come out of a grade 7, grade 8, college dropout.
Yeah. I actually tell people this thing to say perfection is an enemy of progress. When you wait for yourself to say, this is the right time will come for me to start doing this, the right time will come for me to start being an entrepreneur, to start this business, the next time you know it's already too late.
Yeah, it's too late.
Yeah, and then
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think people need to learn that when you make mistakes earlier in life, life becomes easy for you. Because now, when you are at that stage now, when people are expecting you to be perfect, you are already perfect because you have gone through all these mistakes.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah.
But you see, from our parents will tell you that no, yoki failure.
Yeah.
Yoki failure, I see, it's not it was my grade 8.
Nah, exactly.
No, yoki failure, it's not siezi. No, na university uzopalewa. And you be labeled like that. Now, unfortunately, if you believe that, then it's over for you.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I've seen, there was this cousin, one of our relatives, that girl. Yes. I called her and we were talking, and everyone in the family felt that because she was expelled at school. Yes. She got pregnant at some point. Yeah. But today, she's married to this successful man. Yeah. And she's a nurse. Yeah. And actually, she's now getting this UK training for preparing herself to go and work outside the country. But this person was labeled a failure. and there are many people like that whom you say, no, yoki failure, naeze chwana. Kono kama felelezo, these people become very successful. Yeah, exactly. And those people we take to private schools, those people we feel that, no, you cover doctor. Taken care very well. At the end of the day, it's not everyone, but some of them, their ending is very, very bad. Yeah. And for me, I wouldn't judge anyone or prematurely conclude on anyone that yoki failure kuna kwa maupilo. Yeah. You never know what God has. And those words, those bad words and mistreatment and everything that people can do, actually they're opening your way. And God will say, this one, support. God now will get involved and support you and make you way, and finally you become successful. Personally, I get shocked that today I'm one of, even in Mongo, in terms of ministry, I'm one of the pastors that people will say, no, that one is a pastor. Exactly. I'm one of a good example of a youth who has made a bit of impact. Yeah, very much. Not much, but it's enough. And you see, if you saw me in my Sunday school, in my early years,
you wouldn't think.
No one would think that this person can be respected. I remember the other time I was called, and I was in Shangom, and someone was calling, can you preach in the stadium? There'll be this event, and I'm like, but why me? All the people are there. Yes. Then I said, no, yes, I'll come. And the PS and everyone was there, and I stood. Maybe it was the third time me speaking to masses. But in our early years, Sunday school, I wasn't the smartest kid. I remember I failed to memorize. You know, the teachers make you memorize verses. Yeah. Then now you go, begin to present. Then I stood there among other kids, and I couldn't leave alone. The next thing I did was to walk out, and everyone was watching, and I just that walk out. Of shame. So this is the guy. This is the guy who failed grade 7. You know, grade 7. I couldn't see grade 7. Yeah. But someone else had grade 7. Me, I failed grade 7 once, and it was very painful. Yeah. And there are all these background experiences where whenever Niziva Kwakali, they wouldn't have imagined that this guy can become one of the top pastors. He can become one of the most successful young people. Yeah. But God has a way. And also sometimes when you know, like in grade 12 at Kambule, when I got into grade 9, after I recovered from that failure of grade 7, then I now started paying attention to school. And because I knew that now I'm not intelligent like other guys. Because others are born like that. He picks it's okay. They don't have to study. Yeah. But I knew that, no, me, I'm not as intelligent as these other guys. So I had to put in double work. Yeah, exactly. And that's what helped me, Kuli. My grade 12, I think I was the best in our class. Yeah. Not that I was the most intelligent, but I put in double. Yeah. I used to sleep in class. uyoloba faka ni mfema class nge mubaga 04 yakwa ndio tapa kwa yakwa school. And that's what made me become one of the best students. Not that nana longer.
Yeah.
So I use that principle every time. You need to put in doubt.
Yeah.
For you to have to see a bit of progress in your life. Even now, I will tell you that Kameli Kalinzi fella hand the platform in terms of entrepreneurship, the platform was okay.
Yeah.
Where some of us were going to be very far. But life is difficult. And when we talk about entrepreneurship, we tell young people, suddenly many young people believe that entrepreneurship is an easy way to direct cash.
Yeah.
But no, if you are a real entrepreneur, you'll be the last to be paid.
Yeah.
You have to pay your taxes, pay this, pay your workers, what? Maybe you get paid mwasili momenti, ukaitiva maybe have.
Yeah.
So it's this journey that needs sacrifice, that needs you to push. And it's easy to fail.
Very.
And when you fail, people will not even give excuse or understand you. You know, like failure. But they won't understand the environment you are operating in.
Yeah.
They don't care. So we need to put in extra work.
Yeah.
As young, whatever you are doing, put in more, put in double.
Yeah.
And you will see people begin to clap for you because the results will show.
Yeah. I think for entrepreneurship, when we're talking about people looking at it as an easy way to success, it also takes me, even me at some point, I used to think, you know, when you're planning out a business, it's still on paper. It just looks like you're making money direct. Yeah, you are excited. This month I'm making projections. But then now when you come back to the reality, when you
it's
sit
something
there,
else.
It's something else. Yeah, this has been a great conversation. But there's one thing that I just want to get from you.
All right.
Yeah, I'm now approaching you from Mr. Yuyi being a pastor.
All right.
Yeah, we have seen a number of people on social media recently. There has been a lot of news, videos circulating of married people having extramarital affairs, which is something that I want to get from your point of view, from the church's point of view. When now people come to you for counseling, etc., what do you think, or what do you feel this current generation, or in these times, people are missing in terms of marriage?
Yeah. That's a pregnant question. It has a lot of answers.
It has got a lot of answers.
All right. So, the motive for marriage, when God designed marriage,
yes,
it was this holistic thing that He gives to the two. Now the husband shall leave his parents, and the two shall become one.
Yeah.
And then God says, now be fruitful and multiply. The family unit, it was the basic first. The two people come together, they begin to have offsprings and all that. So it's something that God values so much, and God looks at and cherishes.
Yeah.
You know, the devil was one of the angels of God. He knows the mind of God. He understands God better than us.
Yeah.
You know, those powerful papas, intercessors, what? They don't know God the way the devil knows.
Yeah.
So what the devil does is, anything that God cherishes, the devil doesn't like.
Yeah.
So marriage, the devil knows how God values marriage, and he attacks marriage to frustrate the intentions of God. But now the problem I have with today's generation is, many don't even know why they get married.
For social media.
Many no now wedding they just want to put on this white dress.
Yeah.
You are not even ready, or and you want. So you find that there are all these motives. I was shocked one day when someone told me that
yeah.
So saweza muliani, and finally married this girl. So why should you? Is the way to say that okay kuli unyale mutu.
Yeah.
Exactly. Muliani eba mutu yakulati, then you use muliani kuli mutu yale yakulati. muliani wale kuna ni utofelanga.
Yeah.
Mira mwituna zemuzo skalatile. Then suddenly this person will get back to their default mode of considering you kulia mutio nani konukulatana ni. So all these motives, wrong motives that people get involved into marriage, and we use. I've seen no baby because we love each other. People just start cohabiting.
Yeah.
And even by law, after 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, you are married.
Yes.
Kono linyalo le ni mutilo kwa have good vacancy walatana. No counseling, no proper family involvement.
Yeah.
So I feel maybe we need to pay attention to how we get into these marriages.
Exactly.
Mutio mufmanchana kana muzibani for how long? Are you okay? Are you sure that this one can be the father to your children? Are you sure that this girl can be the mother to your children? Yeah. So when you think in those long term, you don't just use emotions. I think we'll be able to make better decisions.
Yeah, and looking at it like the divorce rate was like 60% in the last 5 years in Zambia. That's a very huge number. And I think that has also demoralized the young people. Like most of the young people right now, when you talk to them about marriage, they
think about it.
Yeah, so
it's because of what's coming out of these marriages.
Yeah.
But maybe we need to consider when we're about to get into this, take time. I remember when I was choosing a wife, I prayed prayer and fasting 3 days.
Yeah.
Because I knew that this is one of the major decisions I'm making. Yeah. But thank God that the day I started praying, God answered me.
Yeah.
So I cancelled my prayer and fasting. And I went back home. God told, no, just go and marry that girl. So I said, why should I pray for 3 days when I've gotten my answer? Yeah. That's how I packed my bags and I went, no, I want to marry you. I've heard from the Lord. So I think we need to consider, we need to think a whole lot about the person we are getting married to, and also our marriages. People should pray for their marriages. People should, but let him be involved in your marriage from the first to the end, because marriages are under attack.
Yeah.
And we'll blame people, we'll blame God, we'll blame this, but those are some of the basic things.
Yeah.
If this thing comes from the Lord, He's the one who knows how it should go, then we follow.
Yeah.
Kono satanutro is a hijack. Nirunaba cases. Finally, marriage doesn't seem to make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. I think one of my last questions now is why did you choose public health?
Public health is dynamic. I'll be very blank. I never wanted to be a nurse.
You know?
Like kutabawa tulindonga kutapsali tombo and all those things.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to be into the preventive business. Okay. I want to prevent disease.
Yeah.
So in public health we call it closing the tap of diseases. We close. So not that we are mocking nurses and people who do curative.
Yeah.
But that's what it is.
Prevention is good.
So curative is like you have a leaking tap.
Yes.
And then you keep on mopping that water. You keep on mopping that water. So, whilst the disease is continuing in the community, people are getting sick.
Yeah.
But now public health is, you are saying, what is causing this sickness?
Exactly.
So let's go there. If it's maybe mosquitoes in the community, so we go and work on that. Yeah. So I think that's the coolest thing for me, to be involved in public health. And that's how I went that way.
All right. Thank you very much for accepting to come here, to come on the podcast. And it's really a very great pleasure to have you, to have people like you. I think we are going to have another conversation, I'm sure, after this.
Because this was just an introduction.
Yeah,
there's more to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
Especially in the business aspect.
Yeah, exactly.
There's more to share. There's more we need to learn. I'm still learning, but I think a bit of things that I've picked, I can also share.
You can also share with others.
And that's why we do youth empowerment. This August we'll be doing a youth empowerment and entrepreneurship summit.
When is it?
In August. Around 19th of August.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so thank you very much, guys. Please, can you please encourage our viewers to subscribe to our channel?
All right, so viewers, podcasts is the major things now happening. It's what's happening now, and also we need this. Maybe kwa Mungu. We need this. We need something from Mungu to go out there, so that people, the globe everyone can know and see what's happening. These guys are doing a great job. Please follow, subscribe to their channel, and let's support what's happening here.
All right, people. Thank you very much. See you on the next episode.